I was going to leave the fresh and fit thing alone, but y'all done made me have to get back into this. This video is brought to you by The Officer Tatum Store. The Officer Tatum Store. Get the merch link in the description section. Like and subscribe to the channel. Y'all already know what to do. So let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all that made me get back on Fresh and Fit. I made a video about them just recently. I think it was yesterday. I made a video about Fresh and Fit and their interview on this Australian podcast called Kyle and Jackie O, right? And 94% of the people that follow me or people that were on the channel agree with me, right? They hit the like button. But there were so many comments that was bizarre to me of people who claim to follow me and agree with most of the things I say, but I was wrong about this one, right? But let me set the record straight, because this is a part of my passion and conviction, is that I don't like to leave stones unturned. I'm going to debunk every single thing that I saw in the comment sections, and I'm going to point out what happened in the interview. People were saying, you didn't watch the interview, you didn't watch the full interview, you're taking it out of context. Now, I know for a fact I've watched Fresh and Fit before. I've seen Albert Priest destroy Fresh and Fit 100 times. I used to like them guys, and I used to watch their stuff, and then I realized that these young men are bitter and they hate women because they don't have good relationships with women. Either their moms, either the girlfriends have cheated on them. They don't have good relationships with women, and they're young and dumb. And therefore, they come out with these theologies that sound good, that are sound bites for other men who are talking about this same subject matter, but they have no connection to reality. First and foremost, Fit was out here claiming that they are gurus and pretty much cold picking up women. The gurus, they got game. They doing all this. And Fresh got caught trying to pay a girl or saying, you can't come on my show if you don't let me, you know, we don't hook up. And she put all this stuff out on the internet. You know, these people are not who you think they are. So let me get to the interview. I've never in my life watched Kyle and Jackie O. They're Australian. I don't live in Australia, and I couldn't care less. I don't even know if their podcast is that big enough where it would even reach me. Some people were saying that they talk about vaccine. They have nothing to do with this subject at hand. Fresh and Fit made many mistakes in this podcast, and it doesn't matter that the male host slightly agreed with them sarcastically, in some cases agreed with them on certain topics. They're still wrong. They're still absolutely completely utterly wrong and disingenuous. First point they made, and the problem with Fresh and Fit and young men who don't have a mature mind, they get caught up in them conflating truth with reality, or them coming up with this false equivalence is the better way to say it. It's a false equivalence. They have an argument. They don't have an argument to the argument. They bring up a fact, and then they try to associate it with the argument, which is not the case. They made a statement at the very beginning of the video that men are disgusted and turned off by women who are online in a relationship, who are online showing their bodies off. That's a fact. It's a fact.
Well, if you're in a serious committed relationship with a guy and you have, you know, sexy photos of yourself on the internet, you know, Instagram is just one medium that you can do it. Yeah, it is cheating. When she has sexy photos of herself on the internet and she's in a relationship, that is cheating. That is disrespectful to the man.
Okay, what if the guy is posting a shirtless top and he's in a relationship? Is that cheating?
No, because it's not the same at all.
Well, it is the same.
But the question was, is it okay for men to do it and not women? Meaning that if you're in a relationship, assuming both people are in a relationship together, a man and a woman, that if a man is posting pictures that are provocative online, that's okay. And a woman posting it is not okay. And that's their argument. That is the most asinine argument I ever heard in my life. Then they go with another point. Men and women get attention differently, or their love language is different. Women get way more attention online than men. That's a true statement. But that has nothing to do with the argument at hand. Let me give you an example. They made a false equivalence to say that women get way more attention on dating sites, they get way more attention online than men. But then they made an argument to say that men want quantity and women want quality. Now, the host destroyed them, even though they all talking over each other. The host, the female Jackie O, destroyed them because they really broke their own argument apart, and you could tell they don't know what they're talking about.
Men do not get nearly as many options as women, and even if we're talking about top-tier guys, they still cannot compete. Men and women are not the same. We're not blank slate equals.
No, I know they're not the same.
Very different. Hold on, let me finish, please.
You're just not you're not actually proving your point very well.
I literally have a chart on the screen proving that women get far more attention.
You've got a chart from a dating
site
site that says women get more attention. Yes, that's obvious. But the point you made was that women should not be allowed on Instagram if they're in a relationship because of the attention they get. And you're kind of saying that guys can.
Women get tons of DMs. I would argue that women get, they showed a chart, Fashion Fit showed a chart on there, that women get about 50% more, twice as many messages as men get on Plenty of Fish or some of these websites, these dating websites. Now, anybody who's a mature man, and every woman on planet Earth that has any sense will agree with me, that women get a lot more attention, but it's not quality attention. Dudes are sending nude pics. Dudes' pickup lines are terrible. A lot of them are like, hey, shawty, what's up? Hi, hello, what you doing tonight? You're beautiful. And women are literally not answering probably 90%, 95% of all these messages that they're getting. However, on the side of the men, they may get 20 messages. If you're an attractive man, you getting blown up. Don't get me wrong. You're not getting as much as attractive woman, but you getting blown up. I seen dudes that weren't famous and weren't really that attractive, in my opinion, have women on DM sending nudes and telling them to do whatever they want them to do. I had a dude at a wedding. He was ugly and had no game. And literally, I almost had to beat this guy up because he was pushing himself on a woman a little too hard. But regardless of that, he had a girl on Snapchat just pull her chest out, right on Snapchat at the wedding. And he called her a B and say, B, show me your you know what. And the girl pulled it out. He has plenty of women doing this for him. So men get a lot of ridiculous attention from women. However, men are more likely to have give more attention to more women that message them. And any man knows this. If a woman get 100 DMs, she probably answer 9 of them, to be honest. If a man get 20 DMs, he probably answer 10 of them, 15 of them. And that's the difference. That's the argument, that the fallacy that they made that was not true. You make a statement and a fact, but you're not telling the truth. And then one of the last arguments that they made, and they got this ridiculous analogy of buying a Land Rover, right? I don't know who they must have listened to and fabricated this idea, but it doesn't make any sense.
Drive it off. You shake hands with the car dealer, sign the paperwork, pay the money, buy it cash. You're good to go. Drive it off the lot. You don't care about it losing value, whatever. This is your dream car. Take it back to your house. 2 weeks later, okay, the car dealer comes back to your place, says, hey, listen, man, we're kind of short on cars. We're going to need to put a for sale sign on your car. And a couple days a week, we're going to just need to put it on display back at the dealership. And, 1 or 2 people might test drive it. Are you okay with that? How would that make you feel?
I know the analogy you're trying to make. I own that car. I don't own my partner in a relationship, though.
They had the host come out and they said, what's your favorite car? Women are into cars like that. So she didn't have a favorite car. You know what I'm saying? She liked the one she had. She had a Range Rover. So Fresh get on there and say, if you bought a Range Rover, you bought it cash, it's your dream car, you take it home, and then the dealership calls you back and say, hey, do you mind if we put a for sale sign and promote your car every now and again? And he tried to make that as an equivalence to women posting their bodies on Instagram. Now, mind you, you bought the car with cash. It's an inanimate object. You own the car. You pay insurance for the car. You signed a contract and an agreement that the car belongs to you. You own it. That's a completely different scenario than your relationship with a woman. You don't pay insurance for your woman. None of that stuff is it's not an inanimate object. You can't make that comparison. And they made it anyway, and it was a false equivalence. Also, they made a claim to say at the very end is that it is okay for men to cheat on women on Instagram, and it's not okay for women in the same relationship to have options and cheat. They said it out of their own mouth, the very first clip that I posted. And the lady said, are you serious? You're saying that men can be on Instagram and have all of these options and essentially cheat, and women can't do that because men and women are different. It is completely an asinine argument. And for people that say you didn't watch the interview, brother, I know how they operate. I was not born yesterday. I was a broken man at one point too when I was younger. And I used to have all these negative thoughts about women. And then when I began to make more money, and then when I got married, I started really waking up to the fact that, well, wait a minute. I'm in a coming from a place of lack. I'm coming from a place of hurt. I'm coming from a place of insecurities. This is why I think this way about women. It's not the women. There's plenty of good women in the world. You're just not finna go to Miami, a Miami club and find these women. There's plenty of great men in the world, but you're not finna necessarily find them in these situations where good men are not gonna be in. And I could give a whole channel of relationship advice, but man, Fresh and Fit are completely out of control. Now, we live in America, man. You can post whatever you want. You can have people follow you. I don't care. But if you ask me, I think they're destructive towards young men. They're literally leading young men astray. They're building this misogyny against women, the hatred and vitriol against women, making relationships completely transactional. Relationships are not transactional. Bad relationships are transactional. Relationships you should not be partaking in are transactional. But like a marriage, brother, I'm happily married. I rolled the red carpet out for my wife. What? Like, that's not simping. It's because insecure men, for whatever reason they've been hurt, they're afraid to get hurt again. That's why they hold back and they're like, well, I'm going to give you this and you owe me this. It's not about that. It's about the fact that two people got into a committed relationship and we're both going to work our butts off to make each other happy. And we have different roles in accomplishing that. We have different love languages, but we are both pursuing this thing. And Fresh and Fit, and I'm going to say this and I'm done because this video is much longer than I want it to be. They act like I protect you. A woman want protection. A woman want a man to take care of them. A woman want a man to be a breadwinner. That's not like a achievement. That's what you're supposed to do. What other way are you operating? That's like telling your kid, well, I feed you every day. I put a roof over your head. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't get a pat on the back because you feed your kids. You don't get a pat on the back because you have a house for them to live in. You're the one who gave birth to them. You're the one who decided to have kids. You have an obligation to take care of your kids. You don't get to say, kudos to me. I'm a good mom. I'm a good dad because I'm taking care of you like I'm supposed to. Same thing in relationships. Oh, you owe me because I put my life on the line and you don't have to put your life on the line. Well, no, that's the position of a man. I'm supposed to put my life on the line for you. There's no other choice. And with that privilege, I get privileges for that. And a woman don't have to put her life on the line, relatively speaking, and she get privileges with that. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you want a child, you need a woman. You can't get, your legacy depends on a woman. Like men, it's weird. I'm telling you, it's a bunch of hurt men that are coming out like this. If you want a legacy, you want your family name to proceed, you need a woman to go through 9 months in turmoil to give birth to the legacy that you want. How dare you act as if it's transactional only? But anyway, I could talk about this for 10 hours. This little setup I have is easy for me to talk. I could talk all day in here, man. I'm a 12, 15-minute video. Anyway, I love you guys, man. I had to follow up on that Fresh and Fit fraud stuff because these young men are wrong. And everybody in the comment section that disagree with me, at least the ones I read, the premise was wrong. You can disagree with me because you have a different opinion, but to say I don't know what I'm talking about and I took it out of context, that's a complete lie. That's wrong. And I just proved it to you. Love you guys. See you on the next one. I'm out.